evolution of sound.
Beep beep, what's up ninjas? My name is Senworld and today we're going to discuss Sidechain, how to use it, what it's for, and pretty much the most frequently asked questions like, should I use the same Sidechain on everything in my dance track? What plugin is the best plugin? So if you guys are ready, let's begin. The first thing we need to talk about is what is Sidechain. A lot of people are already going to know. Sidechain is just the act of something lowering in volume when the compressor gets triggered, or just something lowering in volume when something is playing. For instance, let's say we have here this sub and this kick playing at the same time, and brace your ears. See, right now there's no sidechain, so right now the kick and the sub bass are playing at the same time. So this is what's gonna happen is without the sidechain, the kick and sub play at the same time. The sub has frequencies, the kick has frequencies. Those frequencies are gonna add up, and when they play together, they're both gonna try to outdo each other. And the fact that they're both have a lot of low end sometimes might cause phase cancellation and problems along those lines. So how do we fix this? The sidechain. That's why we use the sidechain. Now in 2008. In 2008, we had this electro house where the sidechain was used a lot, and it was done in an effect, mixing and effect wise. What do I mean by effect? Well, if you've heard music like Deadmau5 back then, or like maybe that song Infinity, like it drops and you can hear that kind of sidechain effect on the bass. We're no longer using sidechain that way, so keep that in mind. We don't want to use sidechain that way where you hear everything like fucking getting sidechain. Right now, the way we use sidechain is gonna be for mixing. So pretty much what we want is we want the sub to go down in volume as soon as the kick hits. Now if you go and zoom in on the kick, you're gonna see the kick is taking this up. So pretty much the way this is gonna work is the sub and the kick are gonna play. At this point here, the sub is going to go down in volume, and then as the kick comes out, the sub needs to be coming in. That's the way the sidechain works. Here, the sub plays at full volume, kick hits, it goes down in volume. That's what we want. We don't want this big sidechain where the sub is losing a lot of volume and you can hear it going down. So how do we do this? Well, I personally like to use the compressor method. I don't know why, but I think it sounds better than using LFO or kickstart. Why? Well, if you look at the kick has a shape to it, and pretty much every kick is going to be different. Some kicks are going to have a bigger here section where, it just comes up here and then goes straight down. Others are going to just chill here and then go slowly down. And this gives you a different kind of sidechain every single time. And I feel the best sidechain is going to be one that has to do with the kick. It's inversely proportionate to the kick. What that means is volume is coming up here in the sub as the kick volume goes down. It's as simple as that. We're going to put this sidechain here using the compressor in Ableton. We're going to put it to the kick, which is set to here. And now you're going to see this threshold moving here. All we have to do is move this down. You can see that the sub is losing volume in those sections. Now, how do we know we have the perfect sidechain? We're going to know we have the perfect sidechain because the sub will always go back to max value. Now, how are you going to know that? Well, if you notice here in the compressor, and a lot of sidechain plugins or FL Studio compressors are going to have this, we're going to have our gain reduction here. And what the gain reduction says is loss in volume. So pretty much remember, sidechaining is making the volume go down. So we're going to lose some volume, some gain. So pretty much what we want is enough so where you can hear the kick and the sub just get along really well. Now, Ableton has this feature where you can see and make sure that it's going back to max value, and you never want to do a sidechain where it's never going back to max value because then you're just lowering volume. Now you want to look at this and make sure it's in conjunction with your kick as well. And when it is, then you're pretty much done there. Now, let's go on to the next question. We have the sidechain for our sub. Now, should I use the same sidechain for everything else? No. The reason the sub and everything else gets sidechained differently is because the sub has a lot of low frequencies in it. So that's why we're going to need to really sidechain a lot on it. Now, when we go to the upper layer of the bass, we're going to have this sound. Now this sound isn't, we cut a lot of the lows out, and it's the upper layer of the bass. So the sub is the low part, then this is the mid-low part, and covering the highs as well. So here, this one doesn't need to get sidechained as much because it's not going to be in the section where the kick is at its strongest. And if you open up a spectrum with the kick on it, you're going to notice that the kick's volume, most of it is going to be in the low end. You can see that peak right there. So with that mentality, then we don't really need to sidechain that much on this top of the bass part because the kick doesn't really cover the mids and the highs as well as these ones. So we're not going to need to sidechain as much because, again, this bass is not in the lower part, so we can kind of ease off on it. So when you play the kick and the top bass together, around there should be fine. As long as you can hear the kick hitting in the bass and you don't hear any kind of fighting going on, then it's perfect. And the same thing applies with everything else, chords, leads, and all this stuff. Now, there is also the subjectiveness here that if you do like the sound of the sidechain on your leads, then you can also do it. Don't worry about that. But the sidechain is mainly used like that. It's going to have different for everything. I'm using it mainly as a sound design effect, as a mixing effect now, not a sound design effect, because I do want the kick to sound clean and punch through all the time, and that's what the sidechain allows. Now, the final things I will say about the sidechain, guys, is that sidechains come in various different forms. You can use an LFO tool like from Xfer. You can use Kickstart, which is another form of the LFO tool, volume shapers, all this. I personally enjoy using the compressor from Ableton, keeping it very simple, and it always works for me. Now, the last thing I think I need to mention when it comes to the sidechain is that there is no right or wrong way with it. You can choose the sidechain as hell as you want. The only problem is that if you do over sidechain, you're going to lose a lot of power, and that's the only kind of warning I'm going to give you. Besides that, make sure, you guys practice the sidechain techniques. You guys watch these videos to learn, practice the techniques, try and get them down, and I'll see you guys next time, ninjas. In the future, we're going to have a video where I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of presets from my old sound banks to celebrate hitting 40,000 subscribers, such a huge milestone. And also, I'm going to get a Patreon started for those of you asking, where I'm going to offer you guys one-on-one mentoring, obviously for upper tier guys, and also for sure 100% that I'm going to give you feedback on your tracks, because you guys know how hectic the live streams can get. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care and have an amazing day.